It somehow got even worse when it comes to the Rams dealing with some injuries. Fortunately, it sounds like some minor injuries. We're going to discuss who's getting hurt and who may be coming back all on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Giron. Remember, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor. Press that subscribe button now, as roughly 65.2% of you guys are watching the videos, but you're still not pressing that subscribe button. All I'm saying is, if you're already watching the video, might as well press that subscribe button so you don't miss any daily Rams content here at the Rams Digest. And thank you all who are subscribed, as we just officially surpassed 4,000 subscribers. Really appreciate all of you guys who are subscribed. And if you're not, just please consider it as we continue to try to grow this Rams Digest channel. The more we grow, the better content I think we can provide. And obviously, the more kind of in-depth details on what's going on with the Rams can kind of obviously grow as the channel grows. So, but thank you all for 4,000. We're on the way to 5,000 now, as that is our next major milestone goal here. But first things first, let's talk Rams. Let's talk how the team, unfortunately, right now, the reality is they still are getting hurt. Now, at this point in time, knock on wood, of course, it's fortunately been fairly minor injuries. Of course, we're concerned about Matthew Stafford. We're going to talk about some other key pieces here that are dealing with some injuries that seem to be holding them out for more than a couple of days. And so that obviously is a concern. But, you know, luckily, they have been dealing with some pretty minor injuries. So generally speaking, right? I don't want to talk about these injuries like they're not serious, but overall, it's been fairly light in terms of what they're dealing with. So Rams defensive tackle here, Kobe Turner, now considered week to week with back issue. This comes to us from Cameron DeSilva at the Rams Wire. His Turner's back injury, by the way, popped up last week, and he's been sidelined ever since. So I think the key piece here and the key point I want to point out is, okay, yes, they are fairly minor. Now, week to week isn't ideal, and he's been dealing with this for a while now, and a back injury sometimes can be lingering. So those are all concerning things I do want to point out. But what I mean by fairly minor is, okay, he's dealing with a week-to-week injury. He should be back in a couple of weeks. That's, better than the alternative. But it's key players. I think that's really the key issue that I'm seeing. I don't want to blow these out of proportion, but I also want to acknowledge, I don't want to minimize the importance of these players being on the field, being a part of team practices preseason and on, because we need these guys to obviously lead the way throughout the entire season if the Rams really want a chance to win a Super Bowl. So here, Turner's back injury, sorry if I hit my mic, Turner's back injury popped up last Saturday when he was held out of practice. He hasn't practiced since then, so missing Tuesday's joint practice with the Cowboys. McVay didn't elaborate on when Turner will return, calling him week to week like Stafford has been. Turner is one of the many players who won't play at all in the preseason, so it won't be alarming if he sits out Saturday's opener versus the Cowboys, so that's obviously a key note there. But Rams nose tackle Kobe Turner has a back issue and is week to week. That's what Sean McVay says. So overall, like I said, is it super major, sound the alarms concerning? Not really, but another key player going down, a little bit of a concern for sure. We want to make sure these guys are healthy. But of course, if he misses a game, it's preseason, it's okay right now, but we want to make sure and hope that these injuries aren't going to keep, obviously popping up as the year goes on. Speaking of injuries, speaking of key players getting injured, Rams star Jared Verse left practice with knee injury. Severity not yet known. The injury occurred when Verse and Fisk bumped knees in practice. Now, this one was more alarming, more concerning at first. Then it wasn't. Then to me, it's kind of confusing on if it still is concerning or not. And the reason why, I'll explain in a second. But he obviously bangs knees, and we can discuss little details here. Sean McVay said he isn't sure how serious the injury is when we're talking about Jared Verse bumping the knees. But Greg Beacham of the Associated Press reports that Verse was down for a little while and was helped off by trainers. He did not return to practice. Hopefully it's nothing serious for the Rams star pass rusher, who's already one of the team's most important players. Verse is the reigning Defensive Rookie of the Year and a legitimate Defensive Player of the Year candidate entering his second season in the NFL. Greg Beacham says Jared Verse had to be helped off the field by trainers at Rams practice after bumping knees with Braden Fisk. Sean McVay says McVay doesn't know much about the injury yet, but Verse was down for a little while and had his arms on two trainers' shoulders as he left the field midway through practice. He didn't return. Now, sometimes banging knees, two big, strong men, obviously going at it, trying to get the quarterback, trying to obviously compete. You know how competitive Jared Verse is, Braden Fisk as well. Their buddies are teammates. They're going to go at it. They're going to want to compete against one another, against other people. And so when they bang knees at a high speed, obviously you're going to be dealing with some pain, a little bit of, hurt for sure. But apparently, now this is where I get kind of confused here. Apparently, as you guys can clearly see my screenshot, apparently Jared Verse tweeted that he's fine. Now, the tweet doesn't exist anymore. So when he tweets he's fine, a lot of people saying Jared Verse confirms he's fine, no big deal. Just every Rams fan in the world nearly had a heart attack in LMAO. And then Jared Verse here apparently fine. But that tweet, so I read those tweets saying, okay, Jared Verse said he's fine, maybe we're good. Then that tweet is not available anymore. And I'm going to double check right now live with you all to see what's going on here. Is his Twitter still going to say that, he's, fine, or what is the issue here? And so I'm checking right now live as I talk to you guys, but that's my concern. So at first it sounds like it's good. He says he's fine, and then now I can't find the tweet. I look at his posts right now. I don't see any tweet since August 5th. By the way, he was tweeting about Kobe Turner going viral for sniffing some of the smelling salts. There was a tweet saying that those are now banned from the NFL apparently. But regardless, if you go to Jared Verse's Twitter right now, at this moment, it's 5:10 p.m. August 7th. At this point in time, that tweet doesn't exist anymore. So apparently people saw a tweet, and it clearly was there, where Jared Verse said, oh, I'm all good, don't worry about it, I'm fine. So that sounds good, but then he deleted the tweet. So him deleting the tweet, maybe it's not concerning. I'm just kind of confused as why he would delete it if he really was fine. So that's scaring me. That still makes me nervous. I'm still holding my breath a little bit to hear about an update from Jared Verse. Sounds like he's fine. Hoping for the best. He deletes a tweet. I'm concerned. So we'll have to wait and see on what happens with Jared Verse. Hoping for the best, of course, and hopefully we get an update sooner rather than later. I'm sure many of you guys are feeling like he's going to be okay, and I think he will be too, but we'll have to wait and see on it. And last but not least, Sean McVay shares the latest, more positive news here on Matthew Stafford and when he'll return to practice. Joshua Feinherz yesterday talked about Stafford needing an epidural on his back. Actually, it came out. Ian Rappaport tweeted that apparently he's been dealing with some kind of aggravated disc in his back. That's scary for a 37-year-old man in general, let alone the star quarterback for your football team, having a back issue, specifically an aggravated disc issue that's causing so much pain that you need an epidural. That is all concerning stuff. But after we get that update from the concerning stuff, we're hearing that actually they're expecting Matthew Stafford to be back sooner rather than later, maybe even as early as this coming Monday. So McVay confirmed Stafford's diagnosis of an aggravated disc, which he received an epidural for, but maintains that the quarterback is making good progress in his recovery. The epidural was all part of the plan too. Additionally, McVay said that if the Rams were playing a game this weekend, Stafford would be able to play, which, by the way, Stafford is a dog. He'll play through anything. So I believe that for sure, even though I've heard that from many, many coaches. But it's practice. It's early. It's week one of it's our first preseason game. We're not really stressing too much about this stuff. But again, the epidural sounds a little scary. Aggravated disc sounds a little scary, so we're just kind of, we're all concerned fans here trying to make sure everything's good with our quarterback, of course. That's an encouraging development and a sign that the Rams are simply being extra cautious with Stafford before week one. McVay said the aggravated disc is what led to the sore back for Stafford and that the epidural was part of the plan, working with back specialist Dr. Robert Watkins. Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford had an aggravated disc. An epidural will work out but Saturday before a preseason game versus Cowboys. If all goes well with that workout, he will return to practice Monday. So, again, if Stafford needed to play, he would. So that sounds good right now. They're being cautious right now. They're making sure he's handling this situation as cautiously and carefully as possible. Fine with me. Sounds good. I just want to see Stafford on the field sooner rather than later. And be safe with him, but I want to see him on the field. He's going to be on the field, sounds like Monday if all goes well. Saturday, preseason versus the Cowboys. So very, very exciting stuff. Obviously a very huge positive for the Rams to have their QB1 back at practice. We're going to see those highlights of him throwing to Devontae Adams. We're going to see highlights of him throwing to Puka Nacua. That's going to be all fun, and hopefully things can start to feel like normal again. Got a lot of key guys dealing with injuries. That is a concern, but it's preseason, it's training camp. The Rams are just trying to be cautious with everybody, make sure all their stars are ready to go. And hey, if some guys that are backing up these superstars can obviously get some more run in practice, that could possibly help the Rams be more prepared to deal with injuries during the regular season, right? So it's all good here. Moving on from that, Last but not least, trivia of the day. My favorite part of the episode. I ask a trivia question. You give your trivia guesses down below in the comment section. Whether you're right or whether you're wrong, we give you a shout out on the next episode that I'm on here at the Rams Digest. Last episode's trivia of the day, we asked this question here, kind of a fun one. Which kicker once made a game-winning field goal while barefoot? Now, not too many people were interested in this question, which is fine. I'm okay with it. I'm not too sad about it. Again, this is not Trivia of the Day 99. I thought I'd leave the other one. This is Trivia of the Day 101. Which kicker once made a game-winning field goal while barefoot? So the multiple choice options for you guys last episode were Tony Franklin, A. B. Matt Barr, I can't pronounce his last name. Rich Carlos, or D. Sebastian Janikowski. A few of you guys played along, just a couple of you guys, but I always appreciate you guys for playing along with the trivia of the day. George, he says Reggie White. Oh, that was the last episode trivia of the day, George. You were correct, I think, George, for that. I think it was Reggie White. That was the last episode trivia the day before. Floyd says Matt Barr. You spelled his last name wrong, but that's basically what I said. So appreciate you for going with what I said. Good guess there. And the Roger Will says you forgot the stat of fumbles in crucial moments. He needs to stick them on his arms. Mike Lansford for the win. Oh, wait. I'll say Carlos. So that was your guess there. Appreciate you. But speaking real quick, the Roger Will, on your fumbles in crucial moments. Yeah, man, I agree. I think Kyren Williams needs to not fumble as much, especially in important moments. He's only had one career fumble in the playoffs. Only had a couple playoff games in his career, but still, one career fumble in the playoffs. Definitely something that I think is a concern. Hopefully, he can work on this upcoming season. Rooting for him, especially now that he signed that extension. We gotta love and support Kyren at all costs now at this point. But yes, your guess was Carlos for the kicker. So the correct answer for the trivia of the day of which kicker once made a game-winning field goal while barefoot? The correct answer was C. Rich Carlos, famous barefoot kicker for the Broncos in the 80s. So shout out to you guys for all guessing, everyone for guessing with the trivia of the day. Shout out to you, the Roger Will, for getting it correct. We appreciate all of you guys for playing along every single time. Again, if you want to play along with today's trivia of the day, get a shout out just like these folks in the next episode that I'm on here at the Rams Digest, play along with this question here. Who holds the NFL record for most safeties recorded in a single season? This one's an interesting one here. And what it means is the defensive player, obviously, it's forcing the safeties from the offense. Who holds the record for most safeties recorded in a single season? Is it A, Jared Allen? Is it B, Doug English? Is it C, Ted Hendricks? Or is it D, Justin Houston? Some great players right there on that list. Who holds the NFL record for most safeties recorded in a single season? A, I exited it, Jared Allen. B, Doug English. C, Ted Hendricks. Or D, Justin Houston. Give your guesses down below in the comment section. Whether you're right or whether you're wrong on the next episode that I'm on here, we'll give you a shout out. Give a shout out at the end of the episode. Sorry, I'm all over the place here today. It's hot in Los Angeles. I got the AC blasting, some fans on me, and I'm still a little warm and sweaty while I'm sitting here. So other than that, that's going to do it for me on today's episode of the Rams Digest. If you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, press the subscribe button now so you don't miss any daily Rams content. Other than that, that's going to do it for me. I'm your host, Joshua Giron, and I'm out.